Matt, before we get going on the game, we saw Pierce Sweeney limp off at the end, and it looks like we've lost Alex Hartridge as well. What's the latest on those two?
Well, 2 knee injuries. It's early stages. You saw Pierce on the floor at the end, and you saw Alex previously. It doesn't look good for either players in terms of the contact and the way the knee moves suggests they're going to be sore for a little while. If they'll need scanning, we'll have to assess it in the next few days, but certainly probably not what we need at the moment.
Another game really where we've gone in behind at the break, and then in the second half probably just left it too late to really get going.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you, I thought we looked short of confidence in the first half. We executed certain aspects of our game really poorly, I've got to be honest with you, in terms of the standard we usually set ourselves as good footballers and good players, and all of a sudden, not nerves, but a shakiness appeared in our game for no need whatsoever. You can get beat in football, and we got beat on Tuesday. We got beat the previous weekend, unfortunately, in the FA Cup, and all of a sudden the players seem to have a little bit of doubt in the game, and you can't play football with a little bit of doubt in your game. So half time was all about trying to just make them feel better about themselves, and they tried the hardest in the second half. They were running out of legs at the end, and it was very difficult to break down a well organised Tranmere team. We didn't quite have the quality to beat the players with or without the ball today. In all honesty, in all areas, I thought Harry Kite's legs were the only legs which moved at a different pace to the opposition, and I had to put him as our back player just as a bit of security when the team was attacking. So full credit to Kite and what he's done in terms of his performances, but I just felt too many were below par in that first half period, and then it's an uphill battle, and we were pushing and pushing and pushing. It just wasn't to be.
We saw you readying Podge to come on, and then Alex took that knock, and it looks like you just had to completely change.
Yeah, we had to rejig it. We still got a bit of joy out of Jake Caprice coming on that left side, going back to the back three and having wing backs on the pitch. Like I say, we couldn't quite maintain the pressure or get the ball exactly where we needed it to. It felt we had a lot of opportunities around their box, and either we didn't pull the trigger with any conviction or deliver the ball with any conviction. So I don't want to be too hard on the group of players. They've been absolutely fantastic this season, they really have, and I don't want young players or any player of that matter of fact feeling poorly about their game or feeling disappointed in themselves or being hard on themselves, because football will do that for you. The fans, the game, the opposition will do that for you, so they certainly shouldn't question what they've done so far, but times like this they need to really show who they are, and that's why my frustration was that first half. They really tried in the second half, but first half there were just too many below par performances.
Tranmere's goal from a similar sort of position that Northampton scored from
on Tuesday. We know we've got to defend that better. We've become a leaky team after all those clean sheets at the start of the season. We've almost become the team that you back for both teams to score. Ironically, we haven't done that today, but generally we have scored enough goals this season. But you can almost guarantee we concede one moment or one goal. Similar sort of story where Cam must be thinking about where his clean sheets have gone, where he's not had too much to do. But we go in at break 1-0 down. Got to stop the cross, got to defend the box better, got to get down the line of the ball. We can't just keep being unlucky in terms of ricochets around our box, so that's an aspect we need to improve, because we're giving ourselves a lot to do.
Tranmere only conceded 14 goals this season. You can perhaps see why a really organised team, and we couldn't find a way through.
Exactly, but we've given them the opportunity to play like that. If the game's level, or if even we're ahead, then they've got to move bodies around. We never quite moved, what was it, the yellow shirts around enough today, certainly in that second half, and we didn't quite have it in our legs, I've got to be honest, in terms of beating players 1v1, and then we didn't have the conviction or the quality to put the ball exactly where we wanted it, and we must have had an awful lot of corners and set piece opportunities today, but they didn't really come to anything. Either it was catching practice for the goalkeeper, or it was too easy to defend against. So like I say, I've got to find a way just to pick that group of players up, and there's no reason for them to feel too down themselves. We're still in a good position. Lost a couple of personnel, of course you have, and that always affects you, but don't let it affect your own game.
Obviously no midweek game this week in that. It's probably a good thing based on what you're saying here, in terms of legs.
In terms of the legs, but in terms of the group, obviously physically on the back of Pierce and Alex going off there, and it's pretty simple from this point on. Physically, they've got to be selectable as a group of players, but also they've got to have their game in the right order. We're going to go into another harder run of fixtures. There's nothing harder than Port Vale away as our next outing, and obviously we welcome Portsmouth and then Swindon on Boxing Day. So a little reset, a little break is maybe what they need. You've been through it yourself, a lot of travelling, lots of bits and pieces, but that's part and parcel of it. The brain is something which, if you could get inside, you'd be an absolute millionaire, and there was no reason for them to somehow turn themselves not into poor players but to perform poorly in that first half.
credit where it's due to Cam Dawson today. Made some really big saves and perhaps deserve
because
more
we're
than a defeat
trying to get back in the game. So I've got Harry Kite playing in the middle of a back three, simply just to go all out as much as we possibly could. And we were obviously going to do the changes sooner in terms of Podge before those injuries kicked in. So look, we can't say it's always unfortunate in terms of circumstances. I've not had to say it too much this season, but the last couple of games I've just found myself saying that, and it's an excuse fans don't want to hear. But we've just got to get the group together, reset again, and then look forward to next weekend.
In terms of the defensive players that we've lost today, I know you said we'll monitor them and look at them, but obviously with Jack Sparks going out on loan this week, is that something that might have to be revisited, or
no?
He's
not a centre half. We've got Sam Stubbs ready to play, so he'll step into that mould. It might just put more pressure on our formations in terms of the flexibility which Alex and Pearce give you in terms of the back three. So we've got to assess that, and maybe sometimes when you've got less options as a manager, it simplifies it, and you've just got to pick a group of fit players and give them a simplicity in their game, and that's certainly where we'll be starting on from next weekend.
A late red card for Tranmere for a pretty nasty challenge. That probably made it even harder because it just made Tranmere's job simpler.
The game was dead by then. Look, we allowed them to manage the game brilliantly well. Full credit to the way they slowed the game down, took time out of the game. Northampton did it on Tuesday, but we're giving teams the opportunity to do that. They won't be able to do that if they're 1-0 down or 2-0 down, or if the game's level for longer. So we understand that, and like I say, I can't make excuses in terms of young players because they've played enough league games to understand how it works. So a little reset in terms of a nice little break. We congratulate Tranmere and we congratulate Northampton. We don't want to keep on congratulating opposition teams.